In 2025, one man returns to the country he once taunted on Twitter. But this time, he's not here to fight. He's here to negotiate. Because when the tax wall hits 245%, even the loudest voices choose diplomacy. This is his mission. Air Force One descends through Beijing's hazy skyline. The red carpet is shorter. The smiles are measured. Mr. T steps off the plane with his signature confidence, but the air feels different. This isn't triumph, it's tension. Inside the luxury hotel, beneath gold wallpaper and ambient AI music, he checks in. He's in a foreign land, but the stakes are deeply personal. Tariffs at 245%, a towering wall even he can't ignore. The first official meeting begins in a steel and glass tower, surrounded by quiet observers. No jokes, no headlines, just data. The Chinese delegation outlines their stance with precision. The message is clear: respect must be earned, not declared. Later, in the heart of Beijing's tech zone, innovation hums around him. Autonomous vehicles glide silently, and facial recognition kiosks monitor every passerby. The future is here, and it speaks Mandarin. On day 2, charm is replaced by clumsiness. Cultural missteps draw polite smiles and private chuckles. A misused chopstick becomes a symbol of larger misunderstanding. During lunch with local business leaders, optimism is cautious. Words like stability, long-term trust, and reliability dominate the conversation. It's not hostility, it's hesitation. Meanwhile, in a carefully staged dinner, the world watches a symbolic scene unfold. A bowl of spaghetti arrives at the head of the table. Mr. X, with calm precision, picks up a pair of chopsticks and effortlessly lifts the Italian noodles, twirling with perfect control. In a single bite, the message is clear: adaptation knows no borders. And sometimes, the most powerful gesture is made, without saying a word. The negotiation table is long, the lights above clinical. Documents are passed around, faces remain unreadable. What's at stake isn't just the tariff, but a broader ideology of who sets the tone in global trade. Charts, forecasts, digital models, these are the new weapons of soft power. And both sides come prepared. But what quickly becomes clear is that this is no longer about numbers. It's about narratives. On one side, the argument is anchored in sovereignty, tariffs as a response to instability, a buffer to unfair play. On the other side, it's about equality, a desire to reset the rules, not to punish but to preserve balance. As evening falls, the ceremonial dinner returns, but now the mood is quieter, more personal. There's a sense of fatigue, but not defeat. Both parties know that despite the differences, walking away without progress would send the worst signal of all. Every smile is measured. Every toast strategic. The language of diplomacy here is body language, not bold statements. Each course served is carefully chosen, not for flavor, but for symbolism. When the final course is cleared and the handshake's made, nothing is signed. But nothing is broken either. And in this world, that is its own kind of success. The next morning, the motorcade takes a slower route. It winds toward the Great Wall, not for ceremony, but for silence. In the solitude of ancient stone, something shifts. The wind speaks more than any policy memo ever could. History weighs heavier than ambition. This isn't the campaign trail. There are no cameras now, no crowd to provoke. Just stone, sky, and questions. Every leader who stood atop the wall has seen two things: how far empires reach, and how fast they fall. Mr. T isn't known for introspection, but even he cannot ignore the symbolism. Here is a wall built to keep outsiders out. And yet, here he is, walking on top of it. He looks east. Then west. Perhaps for the first time in years, he isn't searching for headlines, but for understanding. Later, over tea at a small hilltop pavilion, there are no translators. Just space. Enough to breathe, and to reflect. He scribbles in a notebook. It isn't a policy draft. Maybe it's not even a message. But somewhere between the ink and the silence, a sentence forms. Power persuades, but respect endures. It's a thought worth keeping. The last day arrives with little fanfare. But that's often when history happens. A new proposal emerges, not to erase the tariffs, but to ease the future. A joint infrastructure innovation fund. A neutral panel on trade ethics. Seeds, not settlements. The response is cautious, but not dismissive. For every proposal is not just weighed, but translated. Into strategy. Into culture. Into memory. Behind the scenes, aides take notes. Schedules tighten. Yet something has changed. The tone. The tempo. Even the headlines. There is no signing ceremony. No roaring applause. But there is momentum. As Mr. T boards his plane, he glances back, not at the skyline, but at the people. Faces he'll likely never remember, but who represent a country that will long outlast any single presidency. He doesn't wave. He doesn't smile. He just nods, as if acknowledging the one truth diplomacy demands. That real change rarely looks like victory. It looks like patience. It sounds like listening. It feels like humility. The 245% tariff still stands. But so does a new willingness to try again. Later. Better. As the engines of Air Force One faded into the distance, the noise didn't. It simply changed tone. The global press had been watching every step of the visit, and now, it spoke. Not with policy papers, but with punchlines. Headlines across the West played like late-night monologues. Trump goes to China, comes back with nothing but noodles. From tariff war to chopstick diplomacy. He built the wall, but this one wasn't his. Editorial cartoons exploded online. One showed Mr. T dangling spaghetti from chopsticks with a confused look, captioned, "Cultural Exchange, Level 1." Another placed him at the Great Wall, holding a hammer labeled, "Tweet," as the caption read, "This won't break it either." Satirical news outlets dubbed the trip the Great Negotiation that never happened, and mocked the fact that the only thing reduced during the visit was his tweet volume. But it wasn't just American media. Chinese satire was more subtle, elegant, almost. A state-run animation featured a panda and a bald eagle drinking tea. The panda remains calm while the eagle flaps, then shrugs, then simply listens. No words. No translation needed. Meanwhile, in Europe, an op-ed read, "America sought a reset, but forgot to bring the adapter." Yet buried within the sarcasm was something more curious, a recognition. That for once, Mr. T didn't fight. He didn't storm out. He stayed. He tried. And perhaps, in the age of drama, even an anticlimax was progress. In a world that often rewards noise, this visit offered quiet. Awkward, tense, satirized, but undeniably different. The final jab came from a popular meme. He didn't win the deal, but he finished his noodles. With chopsticks. That's got to count for something. And perhaps it does. He came to shift the terms. Instead, he witnessed a world already shifted. The 245% tariff holds. But so does a new kind of dialogue. There was no deal. No triumph. But for once, there was talk. And that might be enough for a beginning. No deal. No war. Just talk.